Good. Okay. Again, thank you for taking time to help me with this. Each of the members that I have on the team really do make a significant difference as far as pushing out whatever we decide we're going to implement for math planning. So y'all were strategically picked, and I'm happy that my first picks agreed to be here with me. So basically our goal today is to identify one high leverage practice that we can use to support the data that we're seeing. So our topic is going to be around third, fourth, and fifth grade STAR results from last year. And I've given y'all each of those. Specifically, we're gonna look at African American students, and Ms. Linton has the data for kind of why we're looking at that. So I'm gonna skip over that part until she comes in. But basically, in a nutshell, we did not perform at level for 3 years, I believe, in specifically African American students, accountability for math. So that is why this group is meeting, to see if we can come up with a plan to support the instruction for math. So I'll let her talk about that part a little bit in a minute, but we can go ahead and jump to I just wanted us to look at the third, fourth, and fifth grade highlighted area, and anything that is a flag to you that you notice about the African American students' performance, and this is by TEKS overall. Anything that kind of sticks out just right away to you. So I will set 2 minutes, good?
Cass, do you happen to have the data? I know this is just price, but do you have the data that's like compared to district? And then do you also have this same data split like by section?
I do not,
Okay.
but
That's okay.
one of my data people can help me with that.
Single test.
Do we know, do these numbers, the cheeks numbers, you know, like in RLA, it correlates, so it's like 6 after always the same?
It's close, but not always identical.
Okay, so that's
Across grade levels, yeah, not exactly identical, but usually kind of similar. Like the 2s are like your place values, your 3s are like your number operations, like, but then the A, B, C, D part, it's not like every A is always rounding 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A. It's not always like that, but it does kind of group in the same order.
Okay.
And then I also have, just in case y'all want to look at the exact TEK, if you're looking at one, I have the breakdown for 3, 4, 5. Y'all can keep looking, but I'm going to ask for some share outs so I can write those down. Third grade, what do we have for, what trends do we see?
There's several, I don't know that there's a trend necessarily with the teats itself, but there are several where they're performing below 20%, like 15, 10.
Okay.
And what I was doing was kind of seeing if that tracked through the grade levels, but I'm not there yet. So
Okay.
I'll get back to you.
What teaks?
32B, 34K, 36C, 38B, 39D.
390.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I also had 33F in that group.
Oh, yeah.
So I looked at those ones that were like less than 20%, because I figured 20% of 2 to 3 classes worth of kids. Like, how many kids is that really? I was kind of trying to quick math in my head what that might look like, and if we could move those lowest of the, maybe I'm getting ahead here, but
No,
like
that's
those
okay.
lowest of the low teaks, just those 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah,
5,
that's a lot.
whatever, 6, 7 teaks. Some of them are readiness, some of them are supporting. It's not like they're not all the same. But if we could move even 10% of the kids on a grade level, you know, if you have 50 kids, that's 5 kids. Can we move 5 kids? Yeah, we can move 5 kids. Like, that doesn't seem absurd to think of.
Right.
If we kind of pare it back downwards. But to move from like a 10% mastery to a 20% mastery, obviously that's not where we want to be, right? We want to be at 100%. But how do you eat an elephant?
Yeah,
one
and no,
bite
and
at
that's
a time.
the main goal of
5
this.
kids is what we need to get to move to get us out of the 10% of our kids know how to do
Yeah.
this skill.
And that's the target of this group, is like these small things that we can make a change in the long run.
Oh, I was gonna ask the dumb question, how many kids, but it says it right there. In 3rd grade, there are only 20 African American students. So 10% is 2 kids.
That's reasonable. We can accomplish that.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So this would be what is actually in y'all's group, 4th grade
Right.
group. Okay.
Potentially. And we have access to specific kiddos.
We can get access for which students exactly.
Yeah, what is that report called? That Austin...
It's a House bill? No.
No, it's the accountability report.
Okay.
This one? Let me see. The one that had the specific, but yes, that's got the list of students.
Is there a way to
Students that
tell
need
from this
accountability.
data which of these kids in any category are a double dip? Like, this kid is African American and special education. This kid is African American and emergent bilingual. This
Is
kid is
there a
African
way for that?
American and economic disadvantage.
We can do that, but like, so we need specific names to see if they're, I mean, it's gonna take a minute, cause I'm not 100% sure how to,
You can probably sort it.
I think it would take multiple points of data
Right,
gathering.
but that's
But
also
yes.
I'm asking, because if there's only 20 kids and 10 of them are already identified in a certain way that might make them less easy to move, does that kind of make sense also? Right, like, I'm not saying they can't move, I'm
Right.
not saying I'm not gonna work with them, but where is it gonna be easy for me to find 2 kids to move? It's not gonna be my friends who are already working 2 to 3 grade levels
Right.
below where they should be.
And receiving pull-out services and
And
they're
still
already
not closing
receiving
the
all of the
gap.
services.
Yes, does that
Mhm.
help make sense?
After this, because I'll do some more data pulls, and then I'll see also if there's a way that we can pull that. Okay, 4th grade, quick view.
42A, 43F, 44H, 46D,
Did you say 448?
H.
Eight. Like what? Okay. And what after that?
460. And I went ahead and pulled the 25s on this one just because
It's a weird number, it's not
48.
round.
48B and 410A. And I'm, what am I thinking of? The scaffold report? Or is it the scaffold report
for
that shows like how
vertical.
it looks? Yeah, that shows how it starts in first, second, third, fourth. Because that might be something to think about. as
Well, and from teaching forth, I can tell you that some of these are the skills that we are constantly doing all year because the skill is huge. 4-4-H is 1 and 2 step problems, any number of operations, add, subtract, multiply, divide, including remainders and interpreting remainder. Like,
Problem solving in general
it's
is
so
across the
much
board.
that it can be tested in so many ways that it's a skill that we just are constantly working all year long.
I feel like that applies for 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, I don't know what the letters and numbers are from the other grades. I just know that 4-4-H is a beating for us every year. And 16% of the kids, and if you look at like the overall, I mean, it's not great, 34%. We're struggling to get to the depth of that teak in all of the ways that it could be assessed.
Which one was that? 4-4-H?
4-4-H.
Okay.
And the other, like, mega low was 4-2-A. Also, really digging deep to get them to understand how to move 10 times a number and 1/10 of a number on a place value chart.
Okay.
This number is 10 times of that number. It's 100 times that number. It's 1/10 of.
And that starts way down. I mean, right now we just had this conversation about the base 10 system not being properly represented when kids come to second grade.
Right.
So that goes way down.
Well, and the understanding of 10-ness starts in kindergarten, right? 10 frame. I think they use a 5 frame, but like you're building that numeracy, that number sense, that idea that we work in tens. You have 10 fingers, you have 10 toes. We count by tens. Like all of that 10-ness starts at kindergarten. But by the time we're getting to 4th grade, I mean, 8.3% of our kids are getting 4.2A, which is 10 times or 1/10 of the value.
Yes.
Is this number bigger or smaller? Not understanding.
So what I'm
that.
hearing you say is that our next vertical planning needs to be around
Tennis.
the base 10 system. The system.
I'm not recommending what our training should be on, but I'm telling.
I'm taking this
but
idea.
I will say, there is no grade level exempt from numeracy, and the idea that what you start at kinder builds block by block by block. And when we get over to the other end of the building, I cannot backfill all the way to kinder. I still have friends, I mean, we did yesterday, add and subtract 3, 4-digit numbers with regrouping and like not knowing where to put the +1 when you regroup something. Still writing like 14 at the bottom of the ones column. Like,
Yeah.
Breaking it.
that's wild to me. And looking at me like we've never seen. What do you tell? What regrouping? What? Put a 1 where?
They're not doing it with manipulatives. They're not moving those blocks.
I don't know what's happening.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
I don't
Well,
know
we're gonna
what's
figure it
happening.
out. No. Okay.
And fifth.
5th grade, real quick.
5th was the only grade that Hispanic African Americans did better than the Hispanic kids in a lot of these.
Oh, that's interesting.
I had maybe 2 that really stuck out. It was 5-3F and 5-7A. And I don't teach 5th, so I don't know those skills off the
And
top.
I marked 5-3K because it was just over 20.
Yeah. 5-3. 5-3F is representing quotients of decimals, dividing a 4-digit dividend and a 2-digit whole number divisor using picture models, objects, and area models. So that's a direct link to 4th grade where we teach all the strategies to divide by a single digit divisor and then expanding that into 5th grade. But it's a weak skill for kids that don't know how to multiply in 4th and they don't know their multiplication off of 3rd. Like, so it just keeps going backwards, right? Like if
Okay.
you're not strong with your addition facts and repeat addition, then you struggle to learn your multiplication facts. If you struggle to learn your multiplication facts, you struggle to learn how to divide. If you struggle to learn how to divide, then when we get to 5th grade, 2-digit divisors, you don't know your 24s.
Right.
And so you have to do 24 times whatever off to the side or make a top bottom chart for 24s, whatever, but it's just labor intensive then at that
It
point.
catches up with you by the time you get to fifth grade.
Right.
You don't have the foundational skills from all the grades moving.
3F,
It catches up with the
5-3F,
And
3K,
7A.
and 7A.
This is solve problems by calculating conversions within the metric system, customary and metric. So that's also not really surprising that how many inches is a foot, and then odd number of inches is how many feet, how many inches. And something that's 27 inches, 2 feet, 3 inches, like.
And then I guess your question would be.
And
too,
y'all had
I mean,
five
they have
3K.
that, they get that, what's that chart? They
Five
get,
3K.
they get that chart. How many kids
The
are
conversion
comfortable
chart.
using that chart and actually use it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Yeah.
even like when I monitored Star in 4th grade, very few of those kids even pick that chart up to
If they're not
actually.
using it in class, they're not gonna use
Yeah,
Right.
so I'm like, so like the conversion chart when it comes to the measurement and all that,
I
right?
think 3rd, 4th, and 5th
Is
needs
this
to
just
be.
third?
Yes, there's third, fourth, and fifth.
Okay, I have a suggestion for whittling down focus.
Okay.
Looking at the frequency distribution, I figured it might be a good idea to focus on the highly tested teaks and target our attention there first.
Okay.
Bang for your buck.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And kind of work around that.
Okay.
So that's 2 teaks per grade level. Well, 2 for 3rd grade, 2 for 4th grade. And then I would also like to look at the scaffold report to see which of these, which of the low tested supporting standards support the readiness standards.
Okay.
And pull those in if needed.
Okay. So moving into the next part, we can use that data. I want us to decide on one teaching strategy that we're going to kind of make a plan for, but that will support how teachers are going to be implementing with the specific teaks that we decide on. Now, this is a list. If you have, okay, this man has already circled one that she's
Can we
sees.
have a quick discussion about something? And Pam, you can kind of jump in on this. Looking at the data overall for STAR data, okay, our Hispanic students are performing much higher, much more consistently than our African American students. And so I would like to just take a second and think about like what is happening on one side or the other, like instructionally, if there is anything happening, and think about strategies too that like correlate. Does that make sense?
Yes. And that's kind of like, that's why we're looking at African American, because like, why are these students performing lower if it is in a certain area?
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to, this is just like a broad statement of practices that teachers should be doing. And we could discuss which of these we might want to focus on if we think it's happening, or like, I already know that I would like to see, I think that this could make a change. Overall as a campus, what do y'all think about the list, if there's anything that flags out to you?
vocabulary.
Vocabulary?
Math is a language of its own. If you don't speak the language of math, you will never get to the problem.
Okay.
Well, and two, vocabulary is what carries through from beginning to end, right?
Yes.
That's something that's consistent across.
The language has to be consistent. If I say regrouping and you say borrowing and you say carrying, we've taught the kids 3 different ways to do the same exact thing.
Right.
And
Do they know
they
they're
had
doing
you last year, they had you last year, and they had me last year, and now they all have Siragusa. And
Should
she
be the
says
same.
something different,
And
and
we
they
just
don't
had-
know.
Well, we just had this conversation the other day about how we call them the flats and the rods and the units.
But funny you bring that up, because yesterday I was in Ackley's class for my ESL time, and they happened to be doing math because they were behind schedule, and she was trying to go back over an exit ticket on estimating and estimating how much. So then when it got to the point of actually rounding those numbers, I used like, hey, 5 or more raises score, and it's like, and then she's like, oh, and the way she like, her terminology, and I thought, and then yes, so the consistency of, okay, so if we're going to teach these kids how to round, we need to all be using the same strategy. 5 or more, raise the score. 4 or less, let it rest. I know it seems simple for 4th grade, simple maybe for whatever, but exactly, because if 3rd grade teaches it one way, and then 4th grade's now going to start bringing in box number and something totally different, and then 5th is, the confusion is like, kids are like, I don't know how to round.
Right.
Yes, you do.
We had this
You do
exact
know how to
conversation
round.
in planning this last week.
You do
too.
know how to round,
Okay.
but so I totally agree that everybody from 3rd, 4th, and 5th needs to decide how are we
across the campus.
Across the campus,
and I
yeah,
think
'cause
we
it
need to
starts
just start
down.
looking at every single unit of study, right? Like, this is the place value unit. What do you guys call it in kindergarten? when you have all these little tiny little cubes, what do you call them? Do you call them tiny cubes? That's not what they are. Like, that's not the language we need to use. They're not blocks. They're not toys.
I mean, we could
Those are
honestly,
units.
if we iron it out and make a plan for it, we can make a one pager and like put it out to the staff and be like, well, when you're doing this, and I mean, we can work on making sure the teaks match. Like when this teak comes up for you for this grade level, etc. This is the language that you're using.
Pre-made for the beginning of the year
Like
come
figure
out.
and be like, this is it, non-negotiable.
Okay, so we're deciding on
This
vocabulary and
exists
language,
and
yes?
lean forward.
As a, okay.
Yes, I think
Doesn't
so.
this exist and
At
lead
least the top.
forward in the field guide? Doesn't it have the vocabulary?
It does.
It does.
But there are also
But I
things
think-
like also I think that would go into it is like when you're talking about the vocabulary of what is new, it kind of breaks down like those overall words, but then there's other things that teachers are using that help support our struggling learners, and like that might be useful for other grade levels to jump on board with too. Because I typically break down the vocabulary on that and we put it on our slides every single time we start a teak. Like the vocabulary is out to the side, but there's also other words that I think need to be known as a campus.
God, I'm gonna go in the way back time machine, but I had a teacher friend, she taught third, and I observed her, this is 100 years ago by now. She had flashcards. They were from whatever, it was like HMH, but whatever company. And they were whatever skills she had, and she just would flip, and they were like picture cards. They weren't the words. They were easy things to catch their, like, that's rounding, that's addition, that's regrouping, that whatever
So like a teacher
the
exemplar
word was,
type?
So think about
was on the back.
what we do with our annotation and reading, which think, okay, so comparing math to reading, we're doing okay in reading, right? That's
Yeah.
definitely not our area of focus as far as like test scores, etc. But like with annotation, like genre annotation, when I'm using this genre, I am using these symbols to identify XYZ thing that is like a, what's the word I'm looking for, but like a task within the genre, right? So does it work that we do that for math too? Like these are the symbols, these are the words, this is what I'm using.
Emily, is there anything in ESL that links up more directly with math and has like the math language or vocabulary that has like picture word cards? Is kind of what I'm thinking. I think STEM Scopes has picture word cards,
They're not,
but
they,
I don't.
it does,
But,
the-
I don't know.
I feel like
yeah.
the pictures are not friendly. In
Some
the
of them
way
can get
like-
crazy.
No,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
totally,
like, they're just
I
really-
totally
some
know
of
what
them
you're
are very
talking about, because when I taught third
detailed.
grade and I taught third grade math, I had a box of math vocabulary flashcards. It was a picture on the front,
Yeah.
word
We
on the
had it
back.
for science too.
Yeah, we had science, we had math ones, and then of course, who knows where they ended up. Once I moved out of third grade, I don't know where they ended up going. They could have been, because it's old material, but I totally agree. And it's flashcards that you can even, like, in transition time, you're standing outside the gym, you're standing, waiting, and you're just flashing these cards at kids, and they see a part, whole math. That's the visual, and they're like addition or subtraction, or or they're seeing a number bond,
Things are
or
somehow connected.
They're seeing
Well-
estimate, they're seeing like a number with an arrow, and now it's been rounded and it's got the zero, and they're like, oh, that's estimating, or that's rounding. They're seeing it. So
And we could have that vertically as well, right? Like
And it can
the
be-
language we're using
I
gets
think we need
more
to-
advanced, but similar.
I don't mean to interrupt,
You're good.
but we've gone to range before for PL, right?
And they have it
Have
all
you
over
seen
the wall.
their
Like on their
hallways
ceiling,
are-
it's like hanging.
Their
Those little word
hallways
cards,
are
have you seen
full
them?
of math vocabulary.
I mean, maybe, but I didn't.
And it's literally
visuals.
by grade level, and it's a visual and a thing that's just hanging
It's
on
a
the ceiling
visual
all
with
over
a
the
vocab,
hallway.
but even on the walls, their walls, you walk and their walls it's got like cube and triangle. I mean, it depends on the different grades.
Just like immerse
It is
ourselves
just
into
like
them.
tons of, and I mean, maybe, as a committee, we go visit range and we walk the halls and take pictures of it. I don't know. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? We take
Yeah.
pictures and bring it back then, and we say, okay, here's what we want to do. But we can see actually what,
I think we know our kids lack language
Yes.
as a whole, not just our African American kids, but just our Title I kids.
Yeah.
And this is popping up in iReady for reading as well.
Yes.
Vocabulary is a low area.
And
Yes.
academic vocabulary is.
And that's
Academic vocabulary for the emergent bilinguals, but these African Americans, none of these I don't have any emergent bilinguals that are African Americans, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
But it's academic languages works visuals, works for the emergent bilinguals, so it's got to work. And
It works
that's
for
where our
everybody.
Hispanic-
It's good
It does.
teaching.
So it's got, it would be beneficial for these kids too. But I feel like if we immerse these kids with so many visuals in the hallways, we've got so much, of course I don't know if the fire marshal will let us, but anyway, we got so much space.
If you do it with
You
the
know,
magnet.
start plastering them on the cafeteria walls, like, you know, whatever. I mean, the multiplication chart that you made is awesome. Now, if the kids are, you know, standing there they need to be actually using it, practicing, you know, just kind of watching
Well,
it. But
equivalent fractions for the older kids.
yeah, and start doing make the equivalent fraction. Yeah, an equivalent fraction.
So
on
much
the wall.
language in
That
math.
is equivalent fractions, the multiplication.
And then you
chart.
throw it
That's
into
right,
a
'cause
word
it's
problem that
equivalent.
has its own reading language and want me to pull out what math I'm supposed to do with it. I will tell you that half of the third graders coming into fourth were in the does not meets category. They don't even have a grasp on the basics of the basics to be successful in third. And now you're in fourth, and we're 2 full years behind plus some, and we don't have that language piece. When I'm saying, okay, we're gonna add, do we start in the thousands, hundreds, tens, or ones? They're like, on the right. That's not what I asked. Thousands, hundreds, tens, or ones. What place value are we starting in? Because there's that missing piece of language. And I think we live in a society that like wants to get it done and wants to get it done now. So we just do something and we don't think about where are we starting? What are we starting with?
And this is something to, okay, have been just kind of capturing little things because I know like you're just, so let's
Yep.
iron out some of the things that we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Vocabulary focus, yes. We discussed math vocab with visual representation. Vocabulary routines was something that I made a note of, like perhaps, because we do vocabulary routines in reading, but we don't necessarily have a vocabulary routine for math, so that might be something that
Okay.
we kind of
We
discuss or
always
talk
had a
about.
math wall.
Math wall.
And
we
then
did.
immersing students in the language of math, so that's like the hallways and all of the
Yes,
things.
we did have that math wall because we had to post the math vocabulary.
In
I'm
another
sorry,
district,
picture
I had
next to
a
it.
math word wall. And it was A, B,
I
C,
did
D,
it like
A
a
to Z,
science
and
wall
we
with a
had
word
pictures and
picture.
words.
A math
Yep.
word wall.
Okay, so on this, keep going with yours, action steps that we can take from here. And some of this can be that Dixon puts into planning, but also whatever teams y'all meet with, y'all have a little bit more insight into. But,
Any resources that we put together, we can discuss in PLC.
right. And so, what steps do we want to take moving from today out of here?
I think, I mean, should we make a list, like finalize a list of the things that we want to focus our attention on?
Okay.
And then like say, okay, by this time we'll do this one, like.
And keeping in mind, I need us to come up with a way that we're going to track accountability with teachers. And that can also be a PLC thing or whatever if y'all are doing walkthroughs into classrooms.
Well, and if we suggest or we make it an expectation that we start using math word walls for the vocabulary, that can be an accountability piece. You just quickly are walking in, okay, we're just looking to see what the math word wall
Okay.
is. You know, is it being utilized? Is it being updated? You know, yada,
Okay.
yada.
And then also
So just that's a quick piece.
how we're going to track the student data, which I know you've been really thinking about how that's going to continuously go. But okay,
I'll check word walls.
steps. So math wall. We want a math
We
wall.
want to start that. I think
Yeah. I mean,
In the classroom or in the halls?
I think, honestly, I think it would be cool to do it in the hall.
Okay.
So that the kids can see, like, I mean, I think it would also be useful to have it, but I want them to see it everywhere, right? I don't want it to be in isolation. I don't know, what are y'all's thoughts?
no, I like the whole in the hallways. Because I mean, I'm just every time I go to range for personal.
My real thought is I'm out of wall space because we're self-contained,
That's true.
and they have a
Well,
whole
we have-
sound wall on
I was
their
gonna say,
walls
too,
down
and
there.
We
So
have places, bulletin boards, walls, things that we can
Cafeteria.
do. Cafeteria is a huge
Yeah.
place where it's communal, everybody's in there.
Gym.
PE, yep, she can start incorporating some stuff. They could even do their drills with it. Like, there's lots of ways that we can.
Incorporate math into PE.
Push this in.
Music, all of it can be even like, yeah.
Okay, and that is something we can do, so that's not asking the teachers.
But yeah,
I can
like
do,
I
getting
like
the
idea of,
vocabulary
Putting
words.
it in the common areas and hallway, what hallway space we have, what cafeteria walls, where they see it and it's there, when they're lined up waiting to be picked up, it's all along the wall, you've got the vocab, yeah,
Okay,
that's a good idea.
All right, now with that in mind, we initially said, or I had initially mentioned focusing on specific teaks, but this sounds like it's more broad than specific teaks.
but we could still break it down, like, our initial, this is not all about to pop up, so we could go in and be like, hey, we want this unit, as Man was saying,
Face value.
a unit.
Add and
This needs to be
subtract,
focused on
multiply and
first.
divide.
Breaking it into chunks so that it's not just all like, hey, get all of this out here ready to go. And that will tie into our vertical alignment conversations that we're having, because we kind of do want to have all of the teachers together talk about what they are doing, because we need to hear on the younger side from what upper grades are saying, how they're speaking, then to tie that in. So I think that the broken down teaks is still important, that we could find like a real big focus area.
You've taught upper grade, you've taught 3rd, I've taught first, Sneed's taught first, Dorsey's taught kinder.
I think right now we have lower grade teachers that don't have any upper experience.
Yes, and I think that's the piece that, like, when you know where they
Yeah.
have to go, you know you can't slack off on the language of it. You can't slack off and give them a shortcut for how to do something, because that's going to tie to the next person's ability to do whatever it is. And then
Is this connected? This may not be connected. But like during PLC, it just makes you think of like, okay, what we did in the vertical alignment, where it was like, here's this 5th grade problem, and then let's have a discussion about how it tailored, like how it goes all the way down. Where does it start? What's the language of how it starts? Like that could be something that we do together. I mean, I could do like a 5-minute dip in PLCs for the younger grades, because I feel like that's kind of the disconnect, 3rd through 5th. We're like, this is what we gotta do, this is what we gotta get done, right? And I feel like K2 kind of just gets lost in the shuffle sometimes.
Or they think, hey, we
There's just not a
don't,
connectedness.
Yeah.
It's like, here's K2 and here's 3.
and they're
How
like,
can we
you're
bring
right,
these
hey,
together?
we don't
And
have
be
to
like, hey
text.
guys, we're a unit.
Right.
You wanted a list of the African American kids who are also SPED,
Double
who are
kids.
also EcoDis.
or
Okay, I got
whatever,
it.
yes.
Got it.
Like a double dip kind of grouping. And out of those 20,
And I'm only-
12 and 22 from each different grade level.
And then did not meet.
Well, it's gonna be most of them.
Even I can pull up.
I don't think it's gonna matter if they did not meet. We're just looking at which kids it is, that if we hit those kids hard enough,
Oh, for the specific teams.
if we hit those kids hard enough and just really make sure that those kids know their stuff. Let me back that train up. Not the kids that are the double dip. I need to know which kids are the double dip to know not to beat my head against the wall.
Yes.
Well, they would be your house bill kids that are math and reading, that are black.
And potentially a way
Right.
to support those kiddos would be to like make sure that we're disseminating information to the sped, like to Miss E and to Jasmine, and like so then that way they can be filling in gaps that they're getting, you know, if they're getting support, let's give them targeted support instead of I'm just.
Do you have a head count how many there are, Pam?
How many there are that are doubles?
Yes.
I do have a head count, hold on.
And then in
I'm
our
just asking that because then that tells us out of the 20, how many.
I mean, I'm gonna just picturing the data document in my mind. I can tell you that the 3 red in a row and the 3 red in a row was African Americans, but so I have.
it's both, so they're gonna double it.
Right.
Well, let's have
Well, most of our sped kids are African American. Like we're not.
Well, our campus is predominantly African American.
Yes.
you're right.
No, we're
It's half and half now.
it's
though.
half
Our
and
sped
half.
campus
It's
is
not
growing.
predominantly African American. That's the problem.
So we'll get that. We'll get that form and then discuss the actual specific students on the next meeting, and then we can make a plan for tracking specific students within 4th and 5th grade, because
That
those are the ones we
plan,
have data
I think
for.
is just teacher specific.
Right.
I think you just talk to the specific teacher and be like, hey, these kids there's no reason that they're not meeting the mark. I need you to get on the horn
Fifth
with
grade
these
has
kids.
5 out of 7 that are double dippers.
So of their 22, 5 are SPED and African American, correct?
What are we at? Okay,
Okay, so that gives them 17 that they can play with.
I'm gonna answer these last few questions and then we'll look at that data and kind of get more of a plan of that because we are gonna meet again.
Well, we can also just have like a like here's your action step for the next meeting.
Right. So, okay, what are we going to track accountability with teachers for? Moving from,
Okay, so when we
Vocabulary.
do walkthroughs, I know that Luna and Kath have their own situation, but we also have like a campus observation form that like when we're going in, we're looking for specific things, and I shared that with you.
okay,
But one of them is, if I'm not mistaken, academic vocabulary. So we can, during our ILT observation, like when we're coming in and walking through classrooms and just seeing what's going on, that can be something that we're on the lookout for. Or we can be intentional about walking during that vocab routine if we form one or whatever.
can we say,
Being in the room during math time.
right, can we go ahead and put that in PLC to ensure that teachers are putting in their vocabulary to lesson plans and the conversation?
Yeah, as long as, when we have a complete document for me to share,
Okay,
then I will do that.
okay. And then,
If
If-
teachers that haven't haven't taught for a while, don't already have the academic vocabulary in their vocabulary, if it's not written down in front of them when they're teaching, they're not probably going to.
right, that's why I was saying that if we put it into part of the lesson planning process when teachers are in there doing it,
We
so
used to
they're,
have to, on our lesson plans, have our academic vocabulary for the week.
right,
Yeah.
But
My
I'm not
only
trying to
pushback
add
with that
to
is
their-
like, and I'm just,
Lesson plans, but
I know I've been out of the classroom for 3 years, but I know a lot of, in some cases, the lesson planning is like, I'm copying and pasting from this, right? We need to get out of,
Not internalizing.
I'm putting it in my lesson plan. I need to know how you're using it, right? So if that means you're sharing the slideshow or whatever it is that you're using to present this information, I need that, right?
Okay.
So maybe that's something that we talk about in ILT.
I'm gonna push back.
On what?
Lesson plans are not for you, they're for the teacher.
Right, but I'm telling you what I'm seeing in the classroom, and I'm seeing a lesson plan here, and what they're doing in the classroom does not match.
Okay.
So that's a compliance piece. Like, you're different than some other, I'm just talking about things that we need to talk
I'm
about.
talking to everybody.
well, we could make it a point of conversation in PLC and maybe not a lesson plan piece that they're putting into the plan.
Right,
But if it's a part of the agenda that's in the PLC planning,
And
where
even
you,
part of the PLC planning being like, hey, let's get into STEM scopes and see if the language matches. If
Right.
we decided this is what we're gonna do with the campus, does the STEM scopes match this, or do we need to tweak it? Like, that's that internalization part that I would love to see everybody doing.
okay,
I feel like talking vocab and language during planning time would be more beneficial than asking for it to just be put in your lesson plan.
okay, so we'll put it into the PLC
Way
plan.
more beneficial.
I will work on, because I'm building the vertical alignment, so I'll work on pulling out, and I'm going to still ask all grade level teachers during vertical alignment what they want to add to it, but making a document of the academic language that will be shared. And I'm going to start with just a unit on place value because everyone's kind of already pushing through that, but we need to continue and maybe revamp whatever has already happened.
Well, and I think most every grade level that I've met with, we still have things that we're working on, so it's coming back and
Okay.
the problem solving.
And I know that our language is not the same across, because we've had the passing conversations about it. So that one will be the first one that I work on. And then we'll work on building the wall. Thinking in mind, doesn't have to be decided right now, but teachers that we want to specifically either offer support for that might just need a little bit extra, that we're going to be monitoring. And then how we're going to get data from students. What is that going to look like? What's going to show that they're making a growth on this? Is it the CFAs? Is there something else that we want? Think about it. If you have an idea, right now I'm going to put down CFA because that's our
Yeah.
every 2 weeks at least.
Yeah.
But if you have another suggestion, let me know.
Do we have any information on if we're not having DCPs anymore, but if these benchmarks are gonna fit into reading and math? No.
Do not
Right
think
now, the
there's
only
going
thing
to
that's
be-
on the calendar that I was emailed is science and socials.
Okay, and then the next time we dip for iReady is not until middle of year, correct?
Right.
Okay.
So, and since everybody's iReady lessons are different,
And my
I
only
don't know how you would use
issue
that.
with iReady is that the like TEKS correlation is so hard to find. And I may be wrong. Maybe I'm just because I'm looking at it from my dashboard and not y'all's.
I was just
It's
trying to
like
think
where-
of things that we do that could give us more data about these specific 17 kids, 10 kids, whatever
Right.
it is. And just look at different pieces instead of just using one metric, one measure like CFAs.
Could we create something for these 17 kids?
like a benchmark.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go back and give them the TEKS from last school year that they haven't been learning this year? If that's what we're looking for is the language
Hopefully
of
they're
these
learning,
pieces.
hopefully that's part of their iReady, but I don't know if they dropped too low for that. Okay. I don't know.
Too low.
Okay, this will be a conversation on the next one is a little bit more on what other data, because right now we have CFA. Okay. Okay, so then next steps, working on the academic language. If y'all come up with any ideas, data tracking. I know that that's been on your brain a lot on following from what else we're using. And then, can you give me those focus teaks?
Yes,
The
for third
high
grade
influence ones.
it's 3-4K and 360.
Pam, can you get us a list of the names of the kids that fall into,
Double dippers.
well,
Or no,
the whole
African
20,
American.
12, and 22 of
But
these
those
kids?
fifth graders are gone,
Okay,
so it's gonna be different. I won't have star data on the third graders, but I can get their names.
3-4K, 3-4.
Yeah, I think what we need is the
3-4K,
names of these
360. For
kids.
fourth grade, it's 448
The current fourth and
Okay.
fifth graders
460.
that are African American,
That were
Can you
third.
also give me the names of the fifth graders that are included here?
3K.
that have gone on.
Yeah.
I want to look at the
And that's all of the
correlation.
ones that I wrote
I'm
down
just
earlier from our
playing in my
conversation.
brain with, if we're gonna
Those
be
are the
looking
teaks that we,
at teacher
so those are the ones that you
effectiveness,
looked at.
Oh, no, yes.
Okay.
That's the only ones I
then
looked
we're,
at.
then we're
Okay.
looking at two different things, right? I look at the whole
Perfect.
group of kids,
Just like
these
on
kids had her, these kids had her, these kids had him.
We can go.
Okay,
into
these kids are successful,
on
these
data
kids are not.
slate
Okay,
and
now we have a
zero down
conversation.
to a teacher.
On who needs support.
Okay, and then, then I need a sort of secondary list of
Yeah.
which kids of that group are also sped.
Yeah.
Can we get that? I just don't obviously know all kids from
I
every
have
grade
fourth and
level and
fifth
who is or
graders.
is not sped.
Why
Right.
not? But I can put the
I
third.
know a
graders-
lot of things, but not that.
The growth that the kids are trying to move, so to get those points,
Yeah.
that's gonna be growth, so that's gonna be fourth and fifth graders.
Yes.
So I'll put the third graders in there.
Okay.
And last year's fifth graders. You said?
Yes.
Okay.
That's really just more
I'll
looking
try
at the
if I
teacher
can pull-
piece.
If I can,
Do you want to, is there a specific, okay, so Pam, specific
Do you need
action
this back?
steps, you're doing double dippers. and
Pulling the data.
Teacher targets.
yes, teacher what?
Do you want me to work on figuring and just ironing out like the correlation between these and see like which units they come into, like in STEM scopes or like what?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna look at the academic vocabulary across.
Brittany, that should be in lead forward.
Okay.
There's a vertical alignment document that'll say like 3-2A is the same in the same column
Yes.
as 4-2B, 4-5, whatever. It'll go kind of
then-
down from where it starts and then where it leads them
And
to.
then I'm
the
gonna
next-
pinpoint in the scope and sequence for each of the grade levels. where it
When that
comes.
is coming, like
That
what
way we
month,
can have
what
a
weeks or
specific
whatever.
Conversation during
Yeah,
PLC.
that document I think is called the vertical. It's vertical something and it's in lead forward.
Okay.
In lead forward, the website or lead forward?
The website.
Okay.
I don't know another lead forward. Just on the website, you can get a vertical alignment document for all of the TEKs in reading and in math. I just know that because I was trying to figure out when something was taught and I was digging in the Wayback Time Machine. I couldn't do it.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good one, guys.
And then Taylor, if you come across any of those images that
ma'am.
match
Yep.
things that y'all have with ESL, that with vocabulary support,
for pictures.
pictures, yeah, the images,
Vocabulary. Okay, I can do that.
just let me know.
When do we meet again?
Next month,
Okay.
I'll set a date.
Don't stop.
I need to find. Okay.
You need to find a day.
All right. I need to find. Well, I need to make sure it's matching everybody's schedule. Yes, October.
Okay.